Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Mama Genius Hub podcast. We have another treat in store for you. Arlene, we're going to be talking about manifesting and all those ideas. It's actually perfect timing because we're recording at the end of the year, but this will be released, the podcast, in the beginning of the year. So we'll be able to go through some of that as thinking, depending on whenever you're watching this, but we're here for you. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Mama Genius Hub podcast, where we support moms with big dreams, from entrepreneurship to personal aspirations. I'm your host, Michelle Kaiser, and I'm here to help you unlock your potential in all areas of life. Join us as we explore strategies for thriving in motherhood while pursuing the dreams, the key to actually unlocking your genius. Subscribe now and embark on a journey to realize your fullest potential. And we have Arlene Cohen Miller coming up. The CEO of Jewel Consultancy is a work-life balance and harmony coach. Don't we all need that in our lives? Who will bring wealth of training and experience to help women compassionately and wholeheartedly lead themselves and create their life they desire. Isn't that what this is all about? A life that works and feels right to them. Arlene is a professional certified coach with International Coaching Federation, an AV-rated Colorado attorney, and certified meditation facilitator with a diploma in transformational holistic counseling from Australia. We're going to get a wealth of knowledge today. Welcome to the stage, Arlene. We're so excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I was just, as I'm ringing your bell, I'm like seeing you got the attorney to the meditation to all of this, and we're really looking at how to manifest those victories. So I have to ask, as I always start, is what is your why behind wanting to do this?
My why was originally to become an attorney, which I did. I always felt like I wanted to be of service, and I feel like the journey of becoming an attorney and having my own solo practice and then being a partner in a law firm is a foundation that I can be a better service today as a coach, as a work-life balance and harmony coach. Because, well, first of all, I opened my own firm after I was in private practice working for other attorneys for about 3 or 4 years, and I opened my own law firm, a really very humble place on like Main Street in Lakewood, Ohio, which is a western suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. There were two other attorneys in there who had their own small businesses and an employment agency, and me. And I opened my doors, had my little small office, and I immediately found out, Arlene, you are pregnant. And I was really surprised because my husband and I had just like 2 days ago, well, I brought it up. I'm like, I have to have a kid. All of a sudden, all the hormones kicked in, and I was established an attorney, and I was like, I'm ready to have a child. And then, like the next week, I found out I was pregnant. So our whole family was in Kentucky. His family, my family, we had moved up to Ohio for his training. He was in training to be a doctor at the Cleveland Clinic. And so working 70 or 80 hours a week, didn't have a tribe there, didn't have my family, didn't have anything. And I was like, holy cow. I just started my own law firm. I'm going to be pregnant my first year of business, and then I'm going to have a kid. How the heck am I going to do this? And there weren't coaches then. There weren't any coaches. There was psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, but they really didn't have, I didn't, that's what it didn't, wasn't what I needed. I needed someone to like, how do I balance this all out, keep my sanity, still be a good mom, still be a good entrepreneur? And so I just did it on the fly. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And so I'm really passionate. I don't know if you can tell, really, really passionate about helping women to bring that balance and harmony in their lives, no matter what they're doing. And I also recently, just to help me sort of fuel that passion, I joined in last year, the Colorado Women's Bar Association. So I'm the only grandmother there. Love it to death, love to be on the committees, and love to participate and just be there, as a role model, however they need me, because boy, are those women amazing, but under a lot of stress.
Yeah, you said it. The word stress just popped into my head. Though I'm going to have to tail back for a minute because you do use the word balance in there. And so I kind of want to get a definition from you, because for me, I just want to throw this out there. And you probably don't. Some of you have heard this on the podcast before. So I've been kind of getting away from the word balance, because I feel, especially as you being an attorney, I always think of the justice like reams, like this pressure on it, and like this, and like, how do I do this? And I feel like that word stresses me out, just saying. But so I've kind of worked the word rhythm, but you have that harmony and balance. I just kind of want to know how that definition for you. So as we title this podcast.
Yeah, I just sort of use the word that people were familiar with. It's not like I necessarily resonate with the word balance because I feel that we're all works in progress, and it's about being flexible and adaptable as a woman. And because our lives are always changing, we're going to have a very different set of priorities and criteria if our kids are under the age of 5 versus if they're teenagers or if they're adults. And so it it just was something that people would understand and resonate with. And the reason I put harmony in there is because it's like that's the that can harmonize my life a little bit. But I just wanted people to have an understanding and not throw out a totally new word that they would have no idea what I was talking about. But really, that's what it is. It's about helping women to be flexible and adaptable, find joy in their life the way they are right now. And I don't want to use the legal term with the balance with the scales. How the heck do you do that anyway? And
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
even apply to the legal profession anymore. So I mean, I don't have any better reason than that.
No, I love that. And that's why I'd love to throw out the different ideas. And I'd love to I know language is just so important. So I'd love to put that definition now for women who do use the word balance and does fit for some people. But I love to just play with it and see where people are coming from. And that's kind of why I threw the question out there. But I kind of want to just jump right into like, you mentioned the flexibility and the progress. And so how a busy mom coming to you when they come to you with that first step, no idea where to start, where do you recommend a mom would start?
Well, I get a lot of these kind of questions, and the thing is that as a coach, basically what I do is I hold a huge judgment-free, unconditionally loving space for the people that I work with, because I know that the women that I work with have the answers inside of them, and that whatever worked for me may just be a horrible answer for them. So I feel that in listening to their stories and gleaning out what's really underneath the stuff that they're bringing, that if I hold presence, if I hold that really big, loving, judgment free presence, that I can ask powerful questions, that I can share intuitions, that I can share what I'm noticing about their body language and how they express themselves and what I'm hearing from them to help guide them to where they need to go for them. So it's not like you come along and I go, I have the first three questions I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to tell you how to transform your life. I don't have a freaking clue because every woman is the captain of her own ship. It's my role to be a loving presence, partnering with you so that you can come to your own knowing. And then when you do, and you have that aha moment, to support you that once you have that realization, to ground and actualize it in your life. Because oftentimes we'll have a realization, a big aha moment, our energy will go up, and then life will come along and we won't ground and we won't actualize and we won't integrate it, and then a year down the road we'll have the same realization. So as a coach, knowing that the women that I work with are smart and talented and amazing, that's how I work with them.
I love that so much. And we'll be back in just a moment. Attention, mompreneurs. Do you feel like you're constantly juggling the responsibilities without a moment to yourself? It's time to pause and reflect with our Mama Genius quiz. Tailored for busy mamas like you, this quiz will help you identify what's blocking your path and inspire you to harness your unique strengths. Transform how you manage life and business, find your rhythm, and ignite your joy. Visit mamageniushub.com today to discover your Mama Genius. And that's mamageniushub.com. I have to agree so much that all the answers are within, but the problem is how do we get them out of us? And I love that you say you hold that space for everyone as well. And so I want to know, how do you so for instance, if a mom wasn't had a coach in front of them or anything, what are some ways that you suggest for moms to get in touch with their intuition? Because I know some of that's the hardest part right now, is just how do we even trust in ourselves again?
I just well, one thing we can always do is start small, because it really bothers me that we've turned off our intuition and we turned off our hearts. And I get that because I'm like sensitive and intuitive and empathic, and I allowed certain things that happened in my childhood, so I shut down my heart. And then as an older adult, I started waking it up. I had some great mentors and coaches, so I understand how that feels, and I can hold space to help you to step forward in that. But I guess if we're really interested in, how do I listen to my intuition? First of all, we got to let go of that. I need to be right or wrong. I really don't see it like that way at all. I feel like it's like I do these minis, I do soul readings. And there's one card and we've gotten to this amazing point in our life. We're in the top of the cliff. It looks like when we step down, we're going to drop into the abyss and nothing's going to be there. But we don't have to have a 5-year plan or even a 1-year plan. You have a feeling, I need to take this one step forward. We take a step off the cliff. Spirit, source, God, whatever you call it, is going to be there to hold you. We feel into that step. How does that feel? We do something on the ground and we take another step. If something begins to feel a little bit off, we might, veer around in a different direction. But all we have to do is take a step. If we're just wishing and thinking and praying and hoping that things are going to change, it's not going to happen. We actually have to take some action on the ground, but we don't have to know our 10-year plan. We just have this feeling would be something I could try. Try it, see how it feels, see what happens, take another step and another step. And we keep doing that for a year, we're going to be a very, very different person. And I guess one way that I helped to develop my own intuition was because I thought I don't have any intuition when I first started this. I'm a big head case as an attorney. I would go to the grocery store, I'd have a list, and I'd look at my list. I go, oh, I said I wanted acorn squash. That just doesn't really feel good to me today. And I would pick out something else. This is what it feels like my body needs. So in a really basic way, where there's no way I'm going to die if I decide to get, you know, I don't know, pasta and spaghetti instead of acorn squash or something. But this is what, I'm just giving an example of what it felt like my body needed. I sort of played with it that way. And I gave myself and I play with it. Well, how does my body really feel? Because what we put into how we nourish ourselves is important. So one of my friends suggested that, and I thought, well, that's a really easy thing to do. I mean, I always go with my grocery list, but you know, that was yesterday. How does it feel today for my body? And that was the basis that for me personally, there's many ways you can do it. It's not the only way that I started to know, like, oh, I do have intuition. My body did like that. My body didn't want that. And, so that's just one simple way that we can practice.
I love how you took it back to just a simple way first, that first step off that cliff. I never really thought about the grocery store, but it's true. Like when you have a list, and the list could be anything, as you were saying. So like if you had a to-do list, even you could look at that to-do list to see what does your body like, what feels right as your next step from that list. And even as you're saying, as you're talking about being entrepreneurs and stuff, if you had your to-do list of all the things that need to get done that day, you could let your intuition guide the order or even what next step to take, especially if you're feeling at that top of the cliff. I want everyone to kind of like visualize that, because it does that scary feeling of, no, I can't trust myself. But here are small tidbit ways to do that. And I love that you brought that up so much that I just had to repeat it again. So thank you, Arlene.
You're welcome. And that really applies to everything, because I know part of my topic is celebrating our victories and stuff like that. And I feel like, as everyone, and women included especially, that we feel like we have to write a book or do something amazing before we celebrate. But all the little things that we do every day, we need to acknowledge them and we need to celebrate them. It can be from something we do to take care of our kids to some letter that we didn't want to write or something we didn't do in our business that was like, oh my God, I just really don't want to do this. And we do that first, we get it over with, we acknowledge and we celebrate that. And, one other way that we can actually, you know, experiences, as well as I love Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog. And he talks about eating the biggest, ugliest frog that we have to do every day. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, but sometimes if we have things that we've been procrastinating or putting to the bottom of our to-do list, we get really, really stressed. This is just not for women, it's for everybody. We do that thing first. It might be making that phone call, might be writing that report. It's not our favorite thing to do, but we really need it to step forward with our kids, with our partner, in our life, in our business. Just do it and get it over with, acknowledge and celebrate that. And then the rest of the day, it can feel like there's a weight off our shoulders and we're much more productive.
Wow, I love that. And it's so true when we make that top three or whatever it is that we just need to get done first that we know we're going to put off. And when they're done, then it leaves your brain space open to do so much more when you're not like, oh, when am I going to do that? When am I going to do that? And all that pressure on. I do want to take a step back though and talk about celebrations. I know, especially as moms, like we say, let's celebrate, acknowledge, but do you have any specific ways or things that you've done or just ideas of how to actually embody that celebration inside of you?
Well, again, I'm gonna tell you some of the ways I do it, but I want your audience to look within yourself because you're not the same as me. Something I say might go, "Whoa,
Exactly.
I want to do that," but it can be really simple. Maybe we've done something. For me, I can be really emotional when I listen to music or some of those like America Got Talents, and you just find these amazing kids or whatever, and they just blow you away. Sometimes I listen to that or just a part of a movie clip that I'm always crying at, or I'll go outside in nature and it's just such a beautiful day and the sun is shining and like it is in Colorado today. I don't know where winter is. It'll probably be here tomorrow, but I'll do something like that. Sometimes I celebrate by like taking a hot shower. I've been busy all day. I've been out. I sort of feel grubby. It's like I just wash away my day, all the energy of my day. And I let all that go and I put on different clothes and I just feel like a new person. I mean, sometimes it can just be like, on my bed. I'm like, I'm not moving for 10 minutes. You can't make me. I mean, it can be
Done that one.
anything. It can be anything that goes, this is what I really need right now. I just need to unwind. I mean, in the summertime, I even like to take a towel and lie under a tree and lie on the ground and really feel the earth and the planet because she's so nurturing and I love her. I mean, it's whatever works for you that you just know if I do this one little thing, it's going to help me to release, relax, soften, and let go. Some of my friends love gardening or knitting. Some of them are like runners. I'm a yoga person that helps me. Whatever floats your boat, even if you love yoga like me, you can do like a couple of restorative postures and breathe and feel different. It doesn't have to take a lot of time.
I love that so much. And I love the idea. So, like, you gave a lot of different ideas. And so, those you listening, if one of those ideas just goes, oh, I could do that, or that sounds interesting, that's the one to start with. And so, I love to get just different ideas from guests just to like get your brain thinking. Again, these are things that have worked for Arlene, but like, just if one of those just kind of resonated with you or just kind of like jumped out, that's your intuition speaking to you. That's saying, that might work for me. And then that's the one to try. And that's, I think, what I've always been trying to do with this podcast is really just bring the ideas, but it's not like there's one right answer. There's the answer that your intuition speaks to. That's the only
Yeah,
answer that matters.
right. I mean, some of my friends are great cooks and love to cook, and God bless them. It's just not my deal. I love to eat delicious food, but don't make me like read a recipe and do that. That I find stressful. But that just, they are like in their seventh heaven. They're relaxed. They're singing. Like, God love them. So it doesn't matter. Whatever works for you is what works for you.
I love that so much. And I want to go more into, I know you have the manifesting the idea of victories and stuff. And so, what are some, I don't even like the ways, but just some suggestions of how to start that manifesting process? Again, as we're giving suggestions, get the one that worked, the one that sticks to you, and that's where you start. So I want to throw that over to you, Arlene.
Okay, well, this is a big one too, but I'll start with some simple stuff. But so the law of attraction is, what we focus on is what we get in our lives. So what I found for myself, I had a lot of blah, 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 blah in my ear of all the reasons I couldn't do something. And that was
Mhm.
like my inner critic or my negative ego, whatever you want to call it. And what we have to do is sort of begin to turn that ship around and work with our inner coach. And one way I love to share with women of how we can do that, there's many, many ways, is that we're nurturers generally. Not it's not that men aren't, but we gave birth to these children, or child in my case, but I have two stepkids as well and grandkids. But what we know how to do really, really well is if a friend came to us and they were telling us the whole story that we're telling ourselves of why we can't do this and why we can't do this and all the obstacles we're doing and that whole blah 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 thing that we go to get wound up with that gets us stuck and puts that glass ceiling, what would we say to this person that we really care about, that we love? How would we nurture them? How would we support them? How would we champion them? If they had their head up a dark place, we need to say, look, you need to take your head out of a dark place and try this. Or just, because sometimes we can get so immersed that we don't even hear how we're talking. And we already have that skill. You don't have to learn a new skill. All you have to do is turn around and start applying it to yourself. And that can feel really uncomfortable to begin with if you're not used to nurturing and championing yourself. But just give it a go because practice makes permanent. The more we practice something, the more we're going to relax into it. the more we're going to be able to do it. And we also want to ask the universe, please show me, because I was talking like this to myself all the time. I was completely oblivious. I thought that to share this kind of stuff with other people was how I bonded with other women and made friends. Anyway, I was in my 20s and 30s. And so, just universe, please show me, or have someone bring it to my attention if I'm talking to myself in a negative way that's putting me down, that's causing me to contract and play small, so that I can again make a new choice. And when we notice we're doing that, just tell myself mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. How could I do this differently next time, and visualize it? And I'm not going to use it as an opportunity to beat up myself. I'm going to use it as an opportunity to practice a new way of being that's going to be supportive for me if something like this comes up again. Because I'm choosing to be kind to myself. Okay, I'm going to stop. If you have some
I'm
questions.
writing notes furiously because you know what? That's exactly why I even started the Mama Genius Hub, was because I found myself in those conversations where I was literally not feeling like I wanted to complain, but because the table around me was complaining, I was literally racking my brain to find that. And it is true, whatever we focus on, that we create more of. And so if that, I'm glad you're listening. If that is you want to break that chain, because that's where it starts. It starts with that acknowledgement and realizing that yes, we do have struggles, we do have things, but again, how do we look at it? We look through it by going forward, and we look at it, how can we learn from it? And we'll be right back in just a moment. Do you ever feel like your own dreams are fading on you as you focus and keep everything together for your family? Or been buried under laundry and school runs and endless to-do lists? They're so deep, you don't even know what they are anymore. The Mama Genius Hub is here to help you uncover that part of you again. Maybe you felt that pull to start a passion project, return to a hobby you once loved, or pursue a career that lights you up, but you're so caught in everyone else's needs that you keep slipping through the cracks. In just 15 minutes a day, our mini courses will help you reconnect with those dreams while finding a new rhythm in motherhood's beautiful, messy life. And best of all, you'll be doing it with a community of moms who truly understand the juggle and the joy. The Mama Genius Hub is a community who've been there and are here to support and inspire each other every step of the way. It's time to rediscover your spark, live in your genius, and inspire your kids by showing them how to follow their own passions. Join the Mama Genius Hub today and start creating space for you again without guilt. You do not get solo.
Come to www.connectingmamas.com for more details.
And we're back. So before we run out of time, Arlene, I want to ask you, what is a common misconception about motherhood that you think holds many moms from truly stepping into their genius?
I think that we buy into a lot of the blah, blah, blah that's out there in society that tells us what we can do and what we can't do if we're a working mom. And, it's like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. No matter what role we're doing something wrong. And it's just not kind. So I just feel like, other people's opinions are none of my business. Because when I started off as a working mother, I was running. And oh my God, I wasn't spending every moment that I wasn't working with my son. So I was a bad mother. I mean, I could feel that, but luckily I found a tribe of women that were also runners at the time, had kids, and we dropped them off at the athletic club and go for a quick run. And it was my sanity saver. So I think what we really need to do is disengage from all the blah 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 out there, because no matter what we're doing, there's going to be someone out there that's going to be critical of us and trying to tear us down and cause us to contract and play small. And it's like, no, no, no. I am a spiritual warrior. I am going to stay big and continue stepping forward with what feels right in my heart. End of story.
I love that so much. And that's what this is all about, is like, let's do motherhood together. Whatever way works for you, we're here to support that. And that's what it is just finding what you need, what your intuition needs at this moment in time. And we have so many takeaways from Arlene. So we're going to put you backstage for just a moment to go through some of those takeaways. Wow, what a powerful episode that Arlene is telling us all about this. So we're going to start with number one, which was me asking her about the balance. And I love how she put that it's the familiar, the process that works. It's learning to be flexible and adaptable. That we are women, that it's not necessarily about that structure of it, but how do we become flexible and adaptable so we can bring more joy to our lives and really learn into that. And then we got into takeaway number 2 is really find that judgment-free space, whether it's with the coach, whether it's with, as she was just talking about, our runners group, whatever it is that you're finding a place where you can listen to each other's stories, you can get those powerful questions answered, intuition. And she was saying as a coach, a lot of times that we get that body language, all that we that you are helped to be guided to figuring out how to be that captain of your ship, how to listen to your own intuition again, and really come into here. And that's what it really is all about, which then leads us to number 3, which is how do we take those small steps? What are some of those small steps to really get into your intuition and heart-centered? Picture yourself on top of that cliff, not sure what to do. But how do you take that first step? Well, that first one gave the example of just that grocery store list. How is your body feeling right now? Or that to-do list in front of you. What is your intuition guiding you to do that needs to be done at this moment in time? That is a first step to really starting to listen into yourself again, which then leads us into number 4, how we said after we take that step, we need to celebrate those victories. But I know as moms, as myself, sometimes we put those off. So how do we acknowledge and celebrate those? She gave us a lot of examples right now. So if any of these examples speak to your heart as I read them, then feel that one. But again, don't listen to all. Just find one in there. Could be a music clip, could be outside and getting into nature, having that hot shower to wash off the day, or just lying in bed for a minute. What is it that helps you cement and know that you need to get back into your body and that you could really show that you relaxed and rejuvenated, celebrating yourself and taking that first step? And then that leads us into our last takeaway from today, is really about the manifesting. How do we do that inner work and really start doing that? Again, manifesting when we're talking about, I'm losing my note, the law of attraction, when what we focus on comes into play. So if you're in those groups where we're just talking about where that complaint fest is happening, then maybe it's about time to remove yourself and find the group of people where you are celebrating each other, living through the struggles, talking about them, but not necessarily living in them. There's a huge difference between that. And so it's all about finding that support and learning to then take that negative self-talk from yourself so you start championing yourself in this process. And that's where the law of attraction really comes in, is when you start believing in what you are able to manifest in yourself. Let's bring Arlene back. Welcome back, Arlene.
Thank you. You did a great job there.
Oh, well, thank you so much. But we'd love a last takeaway from you. Oh, before I forget, which I did after the question, before we go into your last takeaway, can you tell us how everyone can get a hold of you? And I know you had a free gift for the audience.
Yeah, so if you're in the US or Canada, you can always text me at 720-936-2634. Mention Michelle and her Mama Show, so I know who you are. Happy to chat with you. I also am offering a free mini soul reading, which is a form I do as a form of mentoring. I connect heart to heart with you, and we'll just draw a couple of cards. Not a big soul reading, but just something to give you a little bit of guidance and assistance. I'm happy to do that if you just mention Michelle and her show. And I guess that's what I wanted to share.
And then your final takeaway for everyone.
My final takeaway for you guys is there's a beautiful trinity called, like if you envision a triangle: kindness, patience, and tolerance at each corner of the triangle. So maybe during the holidays or just in your life in general, just choose to be kind, patient, and tolerant with yourself. You know, impatience is we push away what we want to have in our life. Unkindness is just why do that? You know, just give yourself a little bit of kindness and just be tolerant of yourself and other people. We all have weird quirks. It's just like it doesn't matter. Let that stuff go and, you know, come back into your heart.
Oh, I love that so much. And just especially those of you listening to this live right now is right before the holidays, really picturing those. But then those of you will be listening on the podcast later, will be into the new year already. And so the holidays have passed. But a lot of times we put these pressures on ourselves to start the new year a certain way or do this. But to remember, even as you're setting those goals out, to really picture that triangle as you're doing it, and to remember to be kind to yourself, which we always seem to forget a lot as moms. So we're here to remind you to do that. Thank you so much, Arlene, for coming on today. It was such a pleasure to have you on. I'm so grateful to you today.
Me too. Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us in today's episode of the Mama Genius Hub podcast. If you found value in our conversation, please share this episode with another mama who might benefit. Sharing helps us build a supportive community and reach out to more mamas like you. After all, it's more fun when we do motherhood together. Until next time, stay motivated and continue to pursue your dreams as you shine in your genius.